Okay, let's start with the styling of the CSS. Just bear with me. My keyboard is making a bit of a noise because I'm using the internal microphone on a laptop, so bear with me. Next time I believe I'm going to use the actual mic so that the noise will be reduced. Tell me how the sounds is and in the comments below. Okay, so we just cancel starting the CSS. Use this global selector. I just want to change the margin, default margin for the browser to be 0 and the padding to be 0. Padding to be 0. I just don't like it, the default. I like box sizing. It's a big box sizing. I always want it to be a border box in case I have some inner padding that I want to change, and I don't want the size of the div to change and all that. Okay, then right now I'll focus on the body. I want the body. Okay, so the body, I want the eye to be height to be 100 viewport height. Then width apparently it's 100%. I want it to be 100%. Okay, and then I want to be flex so that everything is well centered. Display flex, justifying the content in the center, line items on the center as well. Okay, at least I have that. And then background, I want the background to be black. So black, it can be any background, you still have the same results. Okay, so this is not quite what we are going for, but we're getting there. Then after this, let me start with the form wrapper now. Form wrapper, the form wrapper is the one with the effect, the glass effect form wrapper. So I want the form wrapper to have at least a width of 80% of the page, 80%, then a height, minimum height, let me just say main height of 80% as well. And then I want it to have a background of RGBA. This is the most important thing here. This background is what is going to give it a glassish look. RGBA 255, 255, and 255 with an alpha of 0.08. Okay, the form wrapper to display flex as well. Display flex. And then I don't want this to be a row, so I want the flex flow to be column. Then I want to justify things, content on the center, then align items on the center as well. Okay, that's beautiful. Form wrapper. Then there's something to do about the form wrapper though. The effect is not really visible. Okay, I wanted to have a border of 1 pixel, solid RGBA, this RGBA value seeing any changes. Where have I made a mistake? Oh, okay, I'm seeing this here. It's not supposed to be there. Even here, not supposed to be there. Okay, so now the colors come. So that's the look we have now. Just increase the size a bit. Okay, and then we want the border radius. The border radius to be at least 2 rem units. Okay, I like it. Then I want it to have a box shadow. This is as well important. Box shadow, but the box shadow is going to be RGB. It's going to be black. So 0, 0, 0, .1 can be a 0.1. Okay. So now we are getting there. We are getting there. For now, let's move away from this. Let's focus on the input. So I want an input to have a width of width of 80%, to have 80% width, so to be 80% of the form. I need to have a height of about 50 pixels. It's too much. 40 pixels. 40. Okay. For now, I want to have a border radius as well. Border radius. Border radius. A border radius of about 1 rem. I think that would be enough. I don't like the border. It's giving me border to 9. Then I want the border bottom to have 2 pixels solid, and we want the white RGBA. This white is fine. In order to see the effect of the border, I need to make the background. So you can either make the background transparent, have the same effect, but I want it to be a bit black, so I'll give it this. Then I want it to be 0.6 somewhere there. Okay, so now you can see that this input field is not really as 80% as we wanted it to be, and that's because the form is not styled to be. So I want the form to be 80% with this. I think we need to specify what we are talking about. 80%, but then I want this to be 100%. Okay, yeah, and so now we're getting that effect. Now this can be 50%. We'd like it to be 50%, a bit bigger. Then the input can have a margin, because to separate it from other things, this a margin of 1 rem. Okay, 1 rem looks okay, but let me just make it 0.7 somewhere. Okay, 0.7, 0.5, 0.6 would be okay. So we have that. And then let me form wrapper. I want the color of the text on the form wrapper to be white. In case not specified, white. And input, I want the color to be gray. Okay, I want it to be gray, but the gray should be a bit whiter, not too much gray. Then I want the font size to be 1.3 rand. Okay, on the font width to be bold. Font family Times New Romans. Okay, and Times New Romans. This effect will be seen with this. Okay, see, it's a Times New Romans and everything. I don't also like the later spacing. This color can be better, color can be whiter. And the later spacing needs to be 2.5 pixels. Space out the letters. Okay, that's good. Then the outline it's bringing, I don't really like it, so I can remove the outline to be none. It's beautiful. Okay, now we have that focus. Okay, now before, okay, for the wrapper, I think I can give it a padding, and if I don't have to, give it a padding of 10 pixels. Let's see, 10 pixels, and then okay, 10 pixel. Then let's look at the heading. Input heading comes before the input and before the font. Just say which one. Now text align center. Did I use H1 for the heading? Oh, it's in the form wrapper. And it's not H1 like that, surprisingly. Yeah, I made it a class when it's not supposed to be a class. Okay, so text a line of center. Please give it a margin bottom of 1 rand, so it's to separate a bit at about 2 rand. Let's try to, okay, separate it like that. It's font size. I want the font to be 2 rand units. 2 rand, even 3. A little bit bigger, and 2.5. Show you why I want it to be big. Then font family as well. It can be Times New Romans, just like Times New Romans sometimes. Okay, now that we have done that, we don't have the look we want, but yeah. Okay, let me just look at the label, and then I want it to be position of relative. The left, I want it to at least have a space from the left, 1 rand unit from the left. Okay, I like it. Then the font word, probably would not write this because the font size, font word is just similar to other things I've done, but I'll write it because it's just a single page. Font words to be font size 1.3 rand. Letter spacing as well. Letter the spacing to be 3 pixels. Font words to be bold. Font words to be bold. I don't like the whole color. Let's change the color to gray. Okay, we can change the point to somewhere. Okay, like that. Okay, now let's add the bows, the colors. I think I named them bow, whatever spelling it is. So let's start that. So that comes after the body. So anything that's a bow gonna have a position of absolute width of 300 pixel, height of 300 pixel, border radius of 50%, border radius of 50%, and then we just put a background to see the effect of what we're doing. Purple to be purple. Okay, so we're styling, even though they are stuck on the same page. So now I'll create a bow which will be on the bottom. Bottom. I believe the bottom one is the one which had the color, which was purple. I'm just going to cut this, put it here because that's the owner, and I'm going to have the bottom 0, and just to be, and then this bottom is 0, and the left side as well to be 0, so that it's in the corner. I can even reduce the size now. Yeah, no, it's fine. And then the bow should have a z index. The index of -1, so it goes behind. Okay. Then we have another bow, which is a top one. Top one, yes, you guessed it right. The top is going to be 0 on the right side. Right. Okay. It's going to be 0. And then the color, this is the one I made green, was green. Okay, so it's not exactly the way it is there, but you are starting to see how that effect is coming around. So now here I made the top one was a bit bigger in size, so I'm making the width to be 400 pixel and the height to be 400 pixel as well. Just want it to be a bit different. 400 pixel, make it 350. Just not to be too much different. 350. 350 pixels. Okay, like that. And then for it to have that glassy blur background, going to use the filter on the form wrapper. So I'm going to say backdrop filter to be blur. Then the amount of the blur, I want it to be about 20 pixels. Let's see how 20 pixels will be. Yes, so we're going to see that effect, mirror effect. So the more this number increases, the more it becomes. For example, set it to 100. You can set it to any number you want. I just want the effect to be 40 pixels. Now 20 pixels. Yes, mirror background 20 pixels. 30. Okay. And then now, since we have that, you're even seeing where we go. Okay. And then in the input, where is the input? Wants to have a padding inside, padding left of 1 run unit, because when you start typing, I want it to start from somewhere here. Yes, okay, so we have that. So let's see in full screen mode. Okay, seeing we are getting where we want to go. So now if you look at it, the only thing missing here is the linear gradient for this, and for this after that we'll be done. So now the next thing, let me add that gradient to the heading background. I'm going to add the background to be linear gradient. I want it to do 45 degrees. Then red, oh sorry, it's purple 0%, and after purple 0%, then we have green with 100%. Okay, so now in order to have this, because if you put linear gradient to the color of the text, it doesn't have an effect. So in order to do that, we're going to use something called first of all, I'm going to do a WebKit text fill color to be transparent. It's number 1 or number 2, whichever. Then blend mode, background blend mode. I want to do background clip. Sorry, I was looking for background clip. Text, I want to clip to text, and not this, or not where not blend mode. Then background clip, need to call it again. Okay, so we have that effect. Okay, what else? Just the same linear gradient on this. No, I'm not changing anything. I want the linear gradient here to come. I'm going to use it on the input. So any input that has a type of submit, I want it to have this background. Okay, that's great to have that background. And then I want it to have a border of 9. Then I want it to have a box shadow. Box shadow of RGB, a blackish shadow. Seeing the effect we have right now. And then this input, when you hover around it, when you hover or hover, my pronunciations might not be. I want it to scale, transform, then scale Y, just Y 1.1, just to grow a bit when I over. Okay, then I'll put the transition here so that it doesn't move. We'll use transition of about 1 second will be fine for now. Okay, transition of 1 second. Still slow transition of 0.5 seconds. Okay, so that's that. If you look at it in full screen, so right now you're able to tell me that we're almost there. Actually, we are practically done. The only thing that remains is the JavaScript, which I think I might do in a different tutorial, because this was just for CSS. So if you want the JavaScript, let me just repair this. I don't like the way it is. I just want to have an opacity. I don't want it to be too purple. To have an opacity, so okay. And then this should be a bit bigger the way I imagined it. Yeah, it's 400. Should be a circle top. Should be 400. Where is it? The ball. Just want it to be 400 pixels. Just make it 400 pixels. 440 are different, man. 440 are different. Okay, so this is the effect that I wanted. So we are done with this tutorial. Thank you for staying, and if you want any other video, if you like the content I've shared, just subscribe to my channel and then click the notification icon so that you are notified with every tutorial that I post. I'm going to be posting tutorials every week, maybe twice or 3 times on CSS, HTML, PHP, Django, JavaScript. Just mention it and then you will see it here. So subscribe to my channel and leave a comment if you need anything.